Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're back here at the tiny crawl space where we put in all that footer tile in the pump. And what we're doing is we're putting in moisture barrier, and it's a very important part of waterproofing your crawl space. Let's take a look. So the first thing we do is we lay out the moisture barrier. This is 6 mil plastic, perfect for moisture barrier. And one person is going to use the shears, and they're just going to run it all the way down and cut that out as they go. Real simple stuff. Something the homeowner can easily do themselves. And this is a good project. However, in this crawl space, this is that tight crawl space that you've seen that video before, and you're going to see it again. But we're just cutting off this plastic. We've already made measurements, so we know exactly how much plastic we need to cut, and then we'll re-roll that plastic as we go back into the crawl space. So then you go ahead and roll it up. It doesn't have to be perfect, just you want to get it rolled up so that you can unroll it inside the crawl space. And what they're doing is they're just flipping it over, trying to make it really neat. And it's all good, however you can fold it. You can see Matt rolling his side up over here. This is just so we can get it down in the crawl space and then unroll it while we're in there. Remember that we're going to pin this and cut it around all the piers. So this is the hard part, coming in through the maze of plastic, or excuse me, maze of pipes and wires till we get to the front wall. And out up there it's not so bad. I sure wish they would have removed the ductwork. We were told that they did, but it's still there. So we'll have to deal with that when we get up to the front. So you can see it's a tight crawl space, and what we're doing, if you look carefully, you'll see there's small sections of piers that come out here. We've got a trim to get around that. So Matt's made his cuts over here on this side. Jamie's going to make some cuts right here to do the same thing so we can get it back to that back wall, and then we can start to unroll it. This is not an easy spot to work in, but actually this is the easiest spot of the crawl space. So using a big roll like this, you can see it's rolled out. Kind of hard to see it, but it's rolled out. When you come to an obstacle, all you need to do is make a slice. You can see where I cut it, and then we can just go right around the obstacle. Sorry, there's a lot of things right here, but you just go right around your obstacle, and then of course it will fold back around on the other side. So not that hard to do. Make sure you always carry your shears with you, your scissors. And they don't have to be real sharp, but that definitely helps. A lot of plastic that I cut through right here, if you can see it all. And there's a lot of pieces to that roll. And then when we get to that wall over there, we'll just trim it right off, and then we'll pin it, and we're done. So you can kind of see, nice and pinned. Yeah, you can see where I crawled across it and got some sand on it, but that's not a big deal. But we've got it all pinned, comes all the way down past the sump pump. Looking good. So that was Jamie's first day on the job, and we put her in the crawl space. And here comes Matt. He's coming out too. We're going to cut some more moisture barrier. He's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. And cut some more moisture barrier, and then we'll be able to finish that up really quick. So again, you just cut all the way through. Chance, you should stop and let her just do it, or pull it that direction. Pull it from down there. Just keep it tight. Get in front of her. Two people makes it a little easier, but all you need is your shears, and you just like you're cutting, what'd you call it, wrapping paper, and that way you can just pull it and just go right through it. Real simple. Cut all the way through. We've made a measurement. It doesn't have to be exact because we can always trim inside or just fold it over and pin it. Looking good. Okay, so we're almost done down in the crawl space. Came out to take a break, and kind of want to talk a little bit about downspout drains and how important they are and things you should do or you shouldn't do. Let's take a look. So over here on this side of the house, if you remember, we sent our sump pump discharge line out, and you can see, you can't even tell we were here. That was about 2 weeks ago, and that discharges, out at the street. Works great. They've had several rains, and of course it's working good. But we're talking about downspout drains, and you can see this is such an eyesore, and it's right across their paver walkway. This needs to go underground and out to the street. We are going to come back, and they've already agreed, let's put it on the schedule and let's trench a line from here. This side's easy, we don't have to cut the drive and go out to the street. On that side we will cut the drive and go across. Asphalt's easy to get through. You can use just a pry bar to pick through it. In fact, the trencher, it can come down and just rip right through there, but we'll make a clean cut with a saw on both sides, and then of course pull out that asphalt and put it back. But again, you can see they've got that grate, the catch basin built into the line, and all it does is overflow and come right back up underneath the house. Really not a good idea. And again, definitely the homeowners are just trying to get that water, that roof water. There's a lot of roof up there. They're just trying to get it away from the crawl space, because that water is definitely moving back up underneath of there. Again, it is an eyesore, but that's just temporary, although it looks like it's been there a while. This homeowner told me that through this section right here, there is a French drain. And I did explore that. There is, a perforated pipe surrounded by gravel. It has some geofabric around it. It's working great. But what happens is, when you send this downspout drain, and even if you put a pop-up right here, let it go into the French drain, that's not working at all. Those downspout drains need to go all the way out to the street in a separate line, or they can tie into the French drain once it turns to solid pipe. Does that make sense? We've got collection of gravel perforated pipe that's collecting water, and the downspout drain needs to go beyond that and tie into a solid pipe as it runs to the street. Do not send this water to a pop-up right beside a French drain. You're just begging for problems. Let's go a step further and talk a little bit more about putting a French drain this close to your foundation. What we've found over the years is, yes, the French drain does collect a lot of water. It runs all the way out, and it is draining well. But because gravel promotes drainage, that's the key. Gravel promotes drainage. That water that's being collected, and you can see the yard, how it comes down on both sides. When it rains, yes, the French drain picks it up, but the majority of that water still goes down underground and is now moving back against the foundation. On this wall inside the crawl space was the wettest wall that they have, and it's all due to the placement of a French drain too close to the foundation. If this was a basement, my goodness, I've seen basement walls where they're just totally bowed and cracked, and it's because somebody put a French drain right alongside the wall. Number one, it doesn't get deep enough to solve any basement problem. It's got to be down at the footer level. And running a French drain this close to the house, you will have problems in the future. Best, if you're going to do this out here, is to do, a catch basin, because that's picking up the surface water, and that's what they're trying to collect here. Catch basin, keep it solid pipe, and send that solid pipe all the way out to the street. Connect the downspouts, this one and the one in the back. You will have so much fewer problems. French drains work great, but they are not the solution to every problem, especially if you put it close to the house. If you're going to do it, you need to be, way over here. Getting that close to the house with a French drain, you're begging for problems. So here's an example of damage from Hurricane Irma, and you can see there was siding all across this this wall, and they had the lattice strips up there to hold it all together. And of course, when a hurricane comes, the winds are in the hundreds of miles an hour, and it just rips apart many things. Wind gets behind there and just starts to rip that siding apart. So just a good example of what happens during a hurricane. And you can also see that they've painted the wall on the outside trying to stop water, that won't solve a problem. Problem is down underneath where the water is rising upward. This is the home beside where we're working, and again, more damage from Irma. You can see that brand new fascia and soffit. That's a brand new roof up there. It took this roof right off of here, and in addition, there used to be a line of oaks, huge oaks, the size of those. Knocked all those down. Water level here was about halfway up that air conditioner, and their entire floor inside flooded. Will a French drain help that? Of course not. Would a footer pipe help that? Surprisingly, yes, because we put in a sump pump, and until the power goes out, that pump removes water, and it's very possible that it would remove enough water that it would allow the rest of the storm to fill up the system and perhaps save the foundation and floor of many homes. But granted, you can't beat Mother Nature. I mean, you can see the pool and eye. That's probably from an oak tree that fell over on it. But yeah, hurricanes do major damage. One of the neat things about Central Florida is that, not only is this like the orange capital of the world, even more than California, but this is a kumquat tree, and these little fruits are very sweet and very edible. And most homeowners, they grow all kinds of things: lemons, tangerines, oranges, apples. Even the apples grow pretty well. They like a little bit colder climate, but really neat stuff that if you live in Central Florida that you just don't find anywhere else around the country. So with a little bit of effort and a lot of dirt you can definitely install this moisture barrier, even in a tiny crawl space, and save yourself truly thousands of dollars. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.